Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Power of Retail Partnerships. Here we'll examine how to innovate your retail affiliate program and accelerate partnership growth. I'm Ali Thiem, the editor of Power Retail, and it's lovely to have everybody here today. Before I introduce the great lineup of panelists, I have to go through a little bit of housekeeping. So if you have any questions for our panelists today, be sure to ask them in the questions tab on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll do our best to answer them at the end of the session. Before we jump in, I would like to take a couple of minutes to introduce our wonderful panelists. So today we'll be joined by Dannon Jamison, the Strategic Partner Manager at Naked Wines. Dannon is a partnership whiz and is best known for her epic dance moves and her love for drinking wine. She has been with Naked Wines for a little over a year as one of their strategic partnership managers and affiliate newbie. Surprisingly though, her favorite thing about Naked Wines isn't actually the wine, it's getting to know their independent winemakers and hearing all about the unique stories on how Naked Wines has helped their winemaking businesses. For fun, she teaches spin classes in the Sydney CBD and brings the same energy and enthusiasm to her partnership role. Hi, Dannon.
Hi, very excited to be here. Thank you for having us, or me.
I'd like to also introduce Stephanie Colley, the Head of Customer Success and Client Services at Partnerize. And when it comes to affiliates, Stephanie knows her stuff, bringing over a decade of experience in the channel to her role as Head of Client Services and Integrations at Partnerize. Working closely with her dedicated team and some of the biggest brands in APAC, she provides strategic direction, operational expertise, and leadership. Having seen the affiliate and partnership industry rapidly evolve, Stephanie understands the need to be agile and open to innovation, an approach she applies to her work at Partnerize. But beyond work, you can find her looking for the next best restaurant and bar in the eastern suburbs. How you going, Steph?
Hey, everybody. Hope everyone's well.
And last but not least, we have Tamara Cole, the acquisition specialist at Adore Beauty. Tamara is a natural creative, which is reflective in every area of her life. From her Instagram famous cat Cheddar to her everyday ops, Tamara is able to find opportunities to add flair in conception and execution of innovative ideas. Taking on Adore's partnership program by the reins, Tamara has developed lasting relationships and groundbreaking new ways to connect with customers in a meaningful way, the core of Adore's ethos, being your beauty BFF. How you going, Tamara?
Hello, very happy to be here, very excited.
Happy to have you. And it's a real pleasure to have everybody here today. So this info-packed webinar will help retailers understand the secrets to success, how they can make more from affiliate programs, and partnership strategies for growth ahead of the holiday peak shopping season. So get ready for some exciting insights and trends into the Australian retail partnerships. So without further ado, let's jump right in.
Woohoo!
Yay! Steph, I'm going to start with you today. So you've been working in the affiliate and partnerships industry for over 10 years now. What's changed for you? What are some of the most exciting evolutions that you've seen?
Yeah, sure. So I sometimes hate to admit how long I've actually worked in the industry for. It has been super exciting, but I'm starting to get the term seasoned vet thrown at me these days, which I'm not prepared for. But anyway, the exciting things that I've really seen over even just the last 10 years is really how much the channel has evolved from that kind of traditional view of affiliates to a much wider view and portfolio of different partners that customers are working with. So that portfolio is then stretched out more to mobile and technology, to content, to influencers, and not just purely based on, you know, that traditional cashback and voucher code type of partner. Those partners, when you're looking at that kind of loyalty space, are still very much important as they ever were before. They've adapted to how customer behaviors have changed over the years, and they've become a lot more loyal to their customers and vice versa. So then those customers ultimately become more loyal to the brand. So there's still huge value in those traditional types. But I think the exciting thing, as I say, that I've seen is those different types of partners coming through. So it really expands out that different accountability of different partners and also accountability for the channel. So when you're looking at influencers, a lot of them are kind of shifting from that traditional, you know, gifting aspect of how they get rewarded, and they're becoming a lot smarter, and they're saying, you know, I want to be rewarded for the sales that I'm driving. So that's why they're shifting to more of that CPA model. Very much the same with a lot of content partners who historically maybe worked on the CPM model They now want to shift to that more accountable CPA model. I think as well with the channel, you get more and more transparency as the years go by. As I said, it becomes a lot more accountable. Your partners become a lot more accountable to you, and you can see that true ROI because you know exactly what revenue is coming through and you know exactly where your revenue is going out to in terms of rewarding those partners. Again, it's based on a pure acquisition, so it's not just based on a view or a click. It's really looking at that final action that you're paying out for and that you're getting that revenue back for. So you see that ROI. I think from back in the day, you used to maybe be looking at kind of 8 to 1. In some cases, we're seeing up to 25 to 30 to 1 now in this channel, based on, you know, that further transparency. And I think another exciting thing that I've seen is that more channels within the performance mix or the online marketing mix are getting more involved. So we now start seeing more email teams, paid search teams, social teams wanting to actually connect with their affiliate and partnerships teams to get a little bit of slice of that activity, and really understand how you can work a lot more collaboratively together as well.
Absolutely. You can see how far everything's come from, 10 years ago to today. And so Tamara, how does Adore Beauty balance working with traditional affiliate style partners and then bringing in new types of partners to broaden your program?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess building on what Steph has said, at Adore, we do love our affiliate partners, and they've been a super powerful channel for us for a number of years, and I guess in many different ways. But I think in the last months, what we've done is really look deeper into how we can incorporate new types of partnerships into the mix in ways that are going to support our overall strategy. So I guess in particular for us, this has been turning our attention towards brand-to-brand partnerships. And the focus here at Adore for us has really been on that new customer acquisition piece. I think we all know that 2020 has been quite the year, and I think because of this, brands have been looking for ways to support each other and reach out and work together to create campaigns or collaborations or opportunities or whatever that may be that are mutually beneficial for both parties. I guess because of this, we've been able to complement our affiliate program with some experimentation with some really cool brands, one of which who is on the call with us today, Dannon. And yeah, the results we've seen from this have been really, really exciting for us. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that progresses. I guess brand-to-brand collaborations give us access to new audiences and the opportunity to increase our brand awareness. So it's just been a really exciting channel for us. We're looking, as Steph said as well, to bring some influencers into the mix soon, so that will be really exciting. And we're going to treat that relationship a little bit differently to how we have done in the past, being more open, honest, and really treating it as a partnership, I guess, and working with that data that we can receive through PartnerEyes to really see that relationship as a partnership and work together towards a common goal. And I think that's going to round out the channel really nicely for us.
That was a really great segue into brand partnerships. So Dannon and Tamara, we've heard that you've both undertaken some brand partnerships together. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what you were trying to achieve?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think what makes our partnership work really well is, we're kind of taking that initial, what exactly are our products going to do and align the best way, and taking that away and saying, with our two brands, we have similar brand synergies and similar demographics, and how can we work together and utilize a partnership to both reach each other's objectives? And so we've really created a really strong partnership between both of our brands. Something that we're very excited to do over Christmas time is creating a space where we can both reach each other's audiences and growing our new acquisition base through each other's brands. Another thing that we do with Adore Beauty is, they're doing so many great marketing and advertising initiatives, and through our partnership, there's another opportunity for them to generate additional revenue, which they can, build that up and use into their future campaigns that they're trying to test and learn out there.
So your brands are very in their different retail categories, and you mentioned synergies before. So you've still done brand partnerships in the past. What synergies do you look for before deciding to embark on a brand partnership?
Yeah, so I guess firstly, what we look for and what Dana and I looked for is making sure that the core business values aligned for us. I think that is really going to be the most important thing with any partnership, is that you have that foundational base of those values. From there, we then looked at our audience demographic, and because the focus for us personally is on that new customer acquisition piece, it doesn't actually matter so much if that audience is perfectly matched or if it isn't. And actually, in cases where it is slightly different, that can be super powerful for us in terms of acquisition. So I guess thus we then talked more about our individual goals for the channel and how we can support each other for these. And again, the goals, they don't have to be the same. And in fact, if they're slightly different, that can actually be super beneficial. For instance, let's say our goal was to be new customer acquisition, and then we're working with a brand whose goal is going to be increasing their basket size or increasing conversion on their site, whatever that may be. We can kind of come together and create a collaboration that is going to achieve both of those goals for us. So for example, in the past, we've done something where we would provide an offer to another brand from Adore Beauty, and for them, that's going to drive that conversion on their site, or that will maybe make customers spend more. And then for us, we get access to their audience, and therefore it's a customer acquisition piece. So I think from there, really the main thing is just to start testing, because you're going to start getting that data coming through. And for Danon and I think it's been really powerful just to see all that data, and from there kind of adjust the partnership and to see where it can go from there.
I think it's also really important to create a conversation between you and your partner and have that open dialect and really dig deep into what your objectives are. Like Tamara said, the objectives don't have to be the same, but it's just creating that idea or that opportunity to where we can work together to both reach each other's objectives. So I think that that's what makes a really powerful partnership, creating a space that we all can grow and benefit from each other.
Absolutely. Now, Steph, you've worked with a few customers on brand partnerships now. What advice would you give to other retailers looking to launch a brand partnership?
Yeah, sure. So I think just really echoing a lot of what Tamara and Danon have already said is that, you know, your customers don't always have to match. And in fact, if you're looking at new customer acquisition, which a lot of the time, you know, that's what partnership is purely based on, why would you want to target the same customer that you've currently got? You want to really look at how is our customer behavior changing, how are we going to be able to adapt our message, and how can we leverage partnerships to be able to help us do that, especially as customer purchasing behaviors have changed. New products and services have you know, evolved over time, and the need has changed as well. So I think that part can definitely be, you know, a little bit different. Also makes it a lot more interesting from a messaging perspective. But I think one of the things that does really need to match is the values of both of your businesses. And that kind of to the point of what Danon was saying, if you both share those key values of businesses together and how you support customers, how you support even internally at a business, that really helps to execute the most perfect partnership, because again, you're kind of having that collaborative view, you're aligned with each other, and you're in that kind of nice sort of partnership relationship space with one another. So I think really being able to build on that, and the best way to do that is through a discovery session. So we would always recommend for the two brands to come together, have that discovery session to really figure out what's needed, what message are you going to want to get across, but more importantly, what's the mechanic and how are you going to track that? And I think that the message can be as out of the box as you'd like it to be, just to make it as creative as possible. Again, to give that kind of light to each of the brands too, but trying to make the mechanic as simple as possible. A, so it makes it easier for you to attribute, but B, so it makes it easier for the customer to actually follow as well. And then all in all, you can then combine, you know, the mechanic, the messaging, the values all together, and then use a platform like Partnerize to be able to track that. And it's super easy for you both to sign up as partners to one another and then be able to track that data as you do with any other partnership through the technology.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think it's also important to be open to the opportunities and test and learn, because you can think you can predict the outcome of a partnership or a campaign that you're doing, but if you don't test either in a small or large scale, you won't really know the value in it. And some partners may surprise you in the end and may become a gold mine, and you're like, oh great, yes, I got this, and you're so excited to testing and learning. And there's in that, and through Partnerize, there's a very low risk, because you can set what your standards are and what you want to do for the test and learn.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, again, a brand that maybe you didn't think would work with you like last year or align with you last year could be very different this year. So it's about that adaptability. And we've probably heard this word so much this year, but pivoting, and really pivoting based on, that sort of change as well with the types of partners that you can work with.
Definitely, especially now since everything that's happened in these past few months and rolling into Christmas time, what can you do to utilize brands and partners to reward your customers, to increase basket size, to just send a little loyalty gift to your customers, and you kind of think about how you can utilize your partners into doing that. And I think from there you'll create a really successful campaign over the next few months.
Absolutely. Now, another great segue. Look at that. So Dannon, Naked Wines is definitely leading the way when it comes to putting the customer at the center of it all. So how do you actually use this channel to help you drive higher value customers who stay loyal to your brand?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate to have very intuitive data. We have an amazing team that's set up our data, so we can actually track the lifetime value of the customer per partner that we work with. So we can use that information in a way of incentivizing the partner to work even harder and try to go out there and continue to get more of those higher LTV customers through the way of incentivizing through bonuses or adding a higher overall acquisition spend that we can do with that partner, because we know it works. So I think it's really important to kind of take a look at all of your partners, and are they bringing in that high value? And if they're not, what can you do to increase the value of the customer, or what can you change? And using Partnerize is a really nice way, because you can optimize into the testing and learning what works, what doesn't, but then you also have a whole platform that allows you to be very transparent with the partner.
Definitely. And Steph, you mentioned to us in previous conversations that Partnerize allows you to commission on an infinite amount of data. So if you could tell a little bit about that, and what are some of the ways that retailers can actually use this data?
Yeah, sure. So Partnerize can basically track any data in a platform outside of PII that you collect during the customer journey. So that whether that be at the point of sale, whether that be after the conversion, or whether that actually be through the customer journey. So when you think of point of sale, you can track things like the SKU, the brand, the category, the delivery type, the payment type, all of these different things. That really helps to bring together what the value of that customer is without actually sending any personal information through. That ultimately then helps you understand what's the value of the customer that my partners are driving, and who are these customers that we can potentially tap into a little bit better, maybe with our loyalty teams or email teams. How can we target them better? So the richness of that data isn't just beneficial to how you work with your partners, but is beneficial to make better informed business decisions. It also really helps to look at that profitability piece. So especially when you're looking at things such as specific SKUs or brands, you then really drilling down of where am I actually making margin, or where can we look at high and low, and how do we relate that to each of our individual partners. If we look outside of point of sale and we look at that kind of customer journey, you can look at things like, an application submission, for example, and then an approved application. After that fact, and to Dannon's point, really then looking at that LTV. So what has that customer then done afterwards? Have they joined your loyalty scheme? Have they, when even looking at finance, have they started spending on that credit card? Have they then, joined another club that you've got part of? Have they, all of these different things that you can potentially look into. But then also, what is the profitability of that customer? So then you can start looking at maybe profitability scores based on the loyalty that they've got to your brand and what they're actually purchasing. And again, you can actually enter all of that data into the partnerized platform, whether it be point of sale or after sale, so that you can again start building more of that richness of insights.
Absolutely. Now we're going to move on to trust and transparency. So Tamara, Adore Beauty is one of the biggest e-commerce retailers in Australia. How do you ensure that everything is transparent when you're working with such large volumes of traffic and data?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we're obviously working with heaps and heaps of different partners, all of different sizes, different types. And for us, it's really important that we have transparency in these partnerships in two areas, really, both in terms of our relationships with the partners and the way in which we work with them ongoing. And second is going to be that piece of transparency through data. So I guess when we kick off our relationships with these partners, we start by being really upfront and we say, here are our goals for the channel. And as time goes by, we try and provide constant feedback to them about how that particular partnership is performing in relation to our targets and our benchmarks for the channel. I think at Adore Beauty, incrementality is really crucial for us, particularly in this channel. And being with Partnerize has really allowed us to have this openness with our partners on how they are driving incrementality for us. And from this data, we can work together towards improvements. I think for me, the best way to grow in this channel is really to be open with the partners, to have that transparency, to have those open discussions. Because I think without that data, you're not really working towards a common goal. So that's really something we've been working on and have seen really good results from it.
Absolutely. And Dannon, do you have anything to add from the Naked Wines point of view?
Yeah, I mean, for us, really creating that relationship with your partner, whether it's brand to brand or brand to affiliate, is very important. Like Tamara and Stephanie has also harped, is having that open conversation and checking in with each other and making sure that both partners are held accountable for what they've said that they are going to do, but also make sure that we're holding each other accountable so we can reach both of our objectives, which is really important. So it's nice to have one space to kind of put all of your data and reporting in, so then you can just be very transparent through, okay, this is what's going on, this is what we've seen, this is what doesn't work, so what can we do to make it work a little bit better. And I think that in this time, everybody wants to win and wants to be very successful. So, your partners are open to the conversation and open to optimizing your campaigns to make sure that, they're winning and we're winning as well.
Definitely. So now we're looking ahead into the holiday season. Now, after the year that we've had, I think everyone's looking forward to Christmas and the holiday season. So Tamara and Dannon, can you tell us a little bit about your partnership plans and how you are going to gain the attention of consumers during this shopping season? Let's start with Tamara.
Okay. So I guess we're pretty confident, as you said, that Christmas is going to look pretty different this year. And we do think the customers are going to be looking for something different this holiday season. And whether that's just going to be they're looking to save on their Christmas shopping with our affiliate partners, or they're trying to find new ways to connect with brands or with their friends and family, I think that's really what we're going to see this year. So at Adore, our team are working pretty hard on some really exciting campaigns that I can't share too much about at the moment, but I'll be looking to integrate these campaigns across our partnership for the next few months. And I think we're also looking to find some unique partnerships that we can work with some really great partners who are going to help us to achieve what we think those customers are looking for this year. So we're looking to work with partners that we think will help make Christmas kind of easy and convenient for customers, but also meaningful, and will help them to connect with people. So that's pretty much it for us.
Amazing. And Dannon?
Yeah, I mean, I think Christmas time is one of the best times to trial out a partnership with Naked Wines, because wine becomes very relevant to majority of consumers. It's a way to celebrate. It's something you can use to your holiday parties, and especially during this time, it's very relevant to get it delivered right to your home. So, we're up in the upcoming months, we're working on creating successful partnerships that our partners can get rather than what we can take from them. And so there's ideas and opportunities to reward your customers with a wine offer to generate additional revenue, to use our wine as a way to increase basket size, or even just to send wine to your loyal customers as a thank you. And then, of course, social giveaways, or even staff parties, which I think they'll probably all have to all be virtual, but it's been done before. So, you know, we're really excited to see what Christmas has to bring, and look forward to helping our partners with their objectives and really hitting it hard for the rest of the year.
Definitely. Now, Steph, it's safe to say that we've seen a huge increase in online shopping this year. What are some of the ways that Partnerize can help make the most of the current e-commerce landscape? And do you have any tips for those managing retail partnerships in the upcoming holiday season?
Yeah, so I think in terms of managing the partnerships, again, it kind of touches on what Tamara and Dana have already said, but think about different partnerships. I think in the holiday season previously, I mean, every year it seems to get earlier. I think Christmas starts in well, it's probably already started already in September, exactly. Scary. So I think it's almost been stick to what you know, but start earlier. And I think now, especially with the climate that we've kind of gone through this year and that we're still in, you kind of have to take a few risks as well. And I think during a holiday season this year, taking a few more risks, testing and learning new partnerships, and really trying out to engage with different types of customers is ultimately where you're probably going to see a lot more benefit. I think as well, now that more customers have shifted online, obviously massive bonus for us working in the performance marketing sector, but as restrictions start to ease slightly in some areas, shops will start to open again. But how do you connect that offline to online? If someone's shopping offline, but you know there's certain partners that they need to work with online, how do you then make sure that you're tying that customer journey together? And again, we've seen some quite successful offline to online partnerships that again we can help support to track those as well. So again, just trying to look into different ways in which you're engaging with customers. I think as well, you know, Partnerize can support from an overall consultancy perspective, but can also help you connect with different types of partners. Our technology also offers partner discovery, so you can actually go in and find new partners that you maybe don't currently work with, but work with other similar brands. And you maybe want to try something new and connect with them ahead of the holiday season. So I think all in all, really just looking at the types of partners that you're working with, how you can engage with them a little bit differently, how you can potentially, you know, look at new types of partnerships as well, but then use the data that you've got this year to then make those informed decisions and say, well, this is what's worked for us. You know, how can we work together to achieve more from this?
Definitely, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for this lovely little chat. I've had a lot of fun. We do have a couple of questions from the audience that we'll have to get through. So I'm just going to start off with a question to Tamara. Where do you see the future of partnerships heading this time next year?
Yeah, it's a super interesting question. I think, as we've really spoken a lot about today, the power of partnerships is really going to come from that transparency piece, to say it again. Making these collaborations a bit more measurable. So whether that's going to be working with influencers in a different way, like Steph was saying earlier, so being able to provide them with that data for them to see how their content is performing against our metrics. And from there, being able to have a more structured approach in that partnership. So that might be they're earning commission based on how they perform against those metrics. So I think that can be really interesting, and I think that's kind of the direction that it will be headed. I think that's going to help both sides of the partnership, and it's just going to ensure that everything is really out in the open so that it can be data driven and we can really test, optimize and scale in the partnership area. And I do think we'll also see a lot more brand-to-brand partnerships emerge. I think more brands will see each other working together and begin to reach out to each other and really figure out that power of working collaboratively for attracting new customers, as well as kind of developing brands. And I think it builds trust as well. So all of those combined to really just support the overall business strategy, which I think is kind of the direction partnerships is headed in.
Definitely. And there's a question to Steph. Do you think that partnerships will become an integral part of the branding strategy in the future?
I already think that it does, to be quite honest. I think that a lot of brands have really shifted more of that percentage of their spend to performance marketing and maybe less on that brand marketing piece. I actually read an interesting article from Ryan Gracie, the CMO at Catch Group recently, where he wanted to kind of shift that view of spending so much in a performance marketing channel and put more in brand marketing. So I think that their brand marketing switched from 5% to 30% in terms of their budget investment. And I'm not telling you to go and take all your money out performance marketing and put it into brand marketing. But I think as well, trying to get both of them to work quite collaboratively together, you'll see a lot more success from that. So having a bit more of an even keel. I think that when it comes to the branding side of things as well, that is the perfect time to look into these different types of partnerships, and especially brand partnerships, because you're essentially leveraging two different marketing teams to send your message out to different types of customers. So it's a win-win for everybody. And you've also got superb marketing teams on either side that can help you do that. Again, with the types of partners that you're currently working with from a traditional perspective, seeing how they have adapted their messaging and their own branding to be able to represent you in the space in a different way as well. So overall, the branding exercise can definitely be executed within this channel and you know, can work very collaboratively together.
Absolutely. Now, Dannon,
yep.
Safe to say, might be oversaid, but the pandemic has changed the way people understand and access retail. So how may this, adaptation in behavior impact the way brand partnerships work and they are in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in a very nice opportunity and time to go out there and test brand partnerships, because everybody is really after new ways to grow their business and to create a story about what their brand is after. And so through partnerships, I think it's a great way to collab and work together on creating that space and that idea to really build your own individual objectives. And it's also important for you to have be open to having conversations with partners, because once you start that conversation, you're essentially, like Steph is saying, you're utilizing both brains and both marketing teams to create something that's going to work for both of you. So there could be, an out of the box idea, an opportunity to really work together and be successful in the space of partnerships. I think there's so many different opportunities out there. And it's really important to keep conversations going and keep an open mind into the possibilities, because in this time, I truly believe partners is the way to go through building, working, and growing together.
Absolutely, definitely. We have time for, I think, one more question, and I'm just going to open this one up to the group. It is about data. So how can you use data to reach certain goals like customer acquisition or a higher lifetime value? So that one's open to whoever wants to answer.
Go, Dan, go.
Yeah. Okay. I guess so. For us, we have a system that tracks every partner and every campaign that we do, and tells us information about the type of customer that's coming through that partner. So we're able to look at the orders that are coming through on that campaign, the lifetime value of the customer, and ultimately tells us what type of ROI we're getting from the investment into the partnership. So having that has really helped us and allowed us to become a lot smarter, not just of optimizing really successful partners, but also, having that conversation with, hey, listen, I don't think this is working for us, but these are our goals. What can you provide to make us, perform a little bit higher, especially in that affiliate space, because there's so many different brands you can work with through the affiliates, like the cashbacks, the loyalties, the coupons. So being able to have data on the lifetime value and the customers and the orders that are coming through is going to help us become smarter and really optimize in the placements that perform the best, and allow us to, add a little bit more revenue into that campaign, because we know that specific partner is pulling those customers that we really want to drive, and we really want them to try Naked Wines out. I hope that that helped explain a little bit. I know it's not fair because we have this really smart data, but I know from conversations with Partnerize, you can look at how you can work with Partnerize to get the data that you're after.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you can track that customer type. So you track new and existing. There's also an opportunity for you potentially to track when someone is just a guest to your site as well. So whether they're using a guest checkout, and again, taking that internally and saying, this person keeps on shopping through us as a guest, like how do we convert them into an actual loyal user? How do we convert them into a member? And I think as well, being able to analyze that split between which of my partners are bringing me acquisition and which of my partners are bringing me more of that loyalty. Again, to Dannon's point, being able to better understand from that data, how can I work more closely with typically loyalty partners, but also can they potentially drive different types of new customers to me, because they're potentially increasing their target audience in different ways as well. So how can you get a slice of that? And then also introducing those new partnerships as well. So again, to what Tamara was saying before about influencers and trying to work with them in different ways, how are they targeting new customers and what mediums that they're using for that? It's not just about blogs anymore. It's through Instagram stories, it's through TikTok. I don't use TikTok personally, but other people out there might do. But that's a different way of engaging with people. And if you're able to track that kind of link that you are able to give to someone through those different mediums, again, it kind of gives you a bit more of a holistic view of which customer am I bringing in and what does that mean for my data?
Definitely. Well, guys, we're actually running out of time. I'm so sorry. This is one of those conversations that could just go backwards and forwards for hours, and it's just, there are so many insights and really invaluable data that retailers can use and apply. So I just wanted to thank you all for being here and taking time out to chat with us today. And if we didn't get to answer any of your questions, feel free to reach out to today's speakers and I'll try and get back to you. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to Steph, Dannon, and Tamara for their time. I want everyone to stay safe. We'll see you at the next webinar.
Thank you so much. Feel free to reach out to me if anybody has any questions. I'm always happy to chat.
Yeah, exactly the same. Thank you so much, everyone, and take care. Have a good weekend ahead.
And likewise. Thanks, everyone. It's been really, so have a good rest of the week.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye, y'all. All right.